Hey, welcome everyone. We are now officially in week 11. We're in it to win it, and we are going to be doing InDesign today. Yes. So a few things. We're going to go over your workspace. Yay! All right. So we'll have a workspace we'll work on and work with, and really we've got 2 to 3 weeks of InDesign. So same as the others, which is great. Now I'll go fairly. I am hoping to go fairly painless here. We'll get what we need completed together. This is basically where we need to be. Okay. Now we'll be working with type, of course. It's what, InDesign really, its main purpose is to place your copy, right? And fairness. As for a layout, it's a layout program, right? Magazines, you name it, right? Product sales catalogs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So we're going to look, we got a little sad robot here, Sad Communications. We're going to work with him, and we have now converted him into a network. Isn't that fun? It's a network company, right? Don't fret, don't say shit. We've got network issues, call Sad Robot. We're here to connect. Yeah, kind of fun. So this is what we need to do by the end of 3 hours together. Again, I'm hoping it won't be an issue. We'll work with links. It's awesome because in Illustrator, we work with these things, yeah? Like the links, for instance, work exactly the same way in Illustrator as it works with InDesign, okay? You can embed them in InDesign as well. In InDesign, though, we typically do not embed. We leave them as a live link, as we looked at last week. So we'll have a look at that, the ability to go in and play around with links and edit and change. More so just to place a link, it's important. We'll see if we can't I'll show you an amazing tool called the theme color picker tool, which is really amazing. And it allows us to just go over, and we know the I key on our keyboard for Illustrator, and I believe Photoshop as well, allows us to do the eyedropper, right? Remember that? So the eyedropper, basically the same idea, and I wish Illustrator had this. It's called a theme picker. It's amazing. You use the eyedropper and you click on the logo and it gives you all the colors. Anyway, we'll get there. It's sick. We've got layers, which we're very used to now. Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Now, if I were to compare this program to any, like whether it be Photoshop or Illustrator, this is very much closer to Illustrator than Photoshop, okay? And the whole realm of working. So when you get into Illustrator, the short keys, again, many of the short keys, we'll go over all of them, maybe the ones that we know or we've used in all 3 programs to date, or we will be using in this program also. And we'll kind of see which ones, again, are all universal. Some of them, of course, are different. But the overall workspace, everyone, you'll notice is very similar to that of Illustrator as well. Layers work in the same way. You don't double click on it to add an effect like in Photoshop. They work like the Illustrator layers, okay? You have sub layers and so on and so forth. Okay, color is the same, right? Stroke, properties, holy heck and Hannah. We'll get there, okay? Sound good? That's what we need to complete today. Nice and easy peasy. So stay with me. We'll go at a medium pace. Yeah, and we will go from there. Let's have a look at week 11. Welcome all. It is InDesign week. It is our first, and what we'll do is start with our workspace. Okay, we'll use our navigation and just use some basic tools, use type, and some other fun bells and whistles maybe that we'll look at. We're going to get into this, so you may want to clock in like 5 minutes or have it ready to go to click on the button, or start it now if you wish. No, don't start it yet because we got workspace to make up first. So don't forget to clock in. All right. And then what we need to do is take a screenshot, name it accordingly. And the video I'm recording currently will be up there as our like intro into InDesign with workspace. Maybe I'll call it out. Yeah. We'll stop and then we'll get into the postcard. Sound good? Amazing. So here is our workspace. Pretty simple. Pages, links, properties. Really the absolute, next to layers for sure. So we've got really simple workspace here. Yeah. And this is where we want to be. All right. Maybe what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy image, right click, copy image, and see if I can't place that right into InDesign. Ooh, that's sneaky, sneaky. I don't know if that'll work, but give it a try anyway. Okay, cool. Now we need these files. Let's go ahead and grab this zip file, please, if you could. Everyone's here in week 11, right? SAD robot in class 1 zip file. Get that for me. And we're going to minimize, and we're going to open up our CAD class, right? Boop. Good. So we're using our sidebar, right? Amazing. And then we've got CAD class, right? We're going to go in major mini assignments. Holy heck, look at them all, right? And then I've got skate shop we did last week, and I'm going to create a new one. I've got to go and clean this mess up. And what is it today? Today is, let's call this out as in class. Oh, you silly keyboard. I don't even care. There we go. In class. And this is InDesign, right? Postcard. Sure, call it out as that maybe. SAD robot. Oh, cool. Name it accordingly. Get it something that's really easy to find in case you maybe need to go back, and who knows. All right. Now within here, we know that this definitely we're going to have a from client or working. I'll just go with working today. Oh, not working. We want originals, right? I know I'm swapping it out or changing it up. However you feel, it's all you. This is all your organizational system, right? However you feel. If you're like, dude, I don't like doing any of this, I would highly recommend that you do something of the sort though, okay? So that you just stay organized, especially with your originals files is really important. Just making sure, especially working with InDesign, everyone. And as you may know with website design, it's so absolutely integral to know where your images lie. Right? I don't know, as mentioned, I don't know that much about web design, but I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that it does need to reference and locate where those images are lying within your system, right? In order to speed up your refresh, right? Same as like fonts and so on. If there's one thing that's going to slow your system down when you're launching a website, it's your font. So variable font, thank you. All right, so originals, let's call this out as images. Let's do some originals and then do supplied, maybe supplied art. Okay. Now, I'm gonna treat this very similar to a client working with you. Okay. And so the client now has sent you this SAD robot in class, or they want you to do this postcard, and you're like, okay, right? Now, we're gonna pretend like our client is somewhat savvy and understands that it's done, he or she have done some investigation, and they're able to supply us with some fonts. So what I'd like you to do is let's go here for a second and grab our SAD robot from downloads. That's the next step. Let's go there first. So go into downloads. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. We've got what we need, right? So downloads, go into downloads, sorry. Don't want to skip this step. We've been doing this now. We've done it how many times over, right? We're on like our 6th time, I think, or 7th time. If you add up all the in classes and so on. Submission, bring it over here. SAD robot in class. Okay. Click, click. That'll unstuff it. We can get rid of the zip file if you wish. Okay. Now, let's drop this one down. And right now, all I'm in list view. Okay. So make sure this is helpful. I guess you can be in column view as well. Will work however you wish. I find list view is, it depends on the day, really, to be totally honest with you. The list view is handy because you can easily, and column view does it as well. You can navigate from side to side. Now, notice, let's just have a look at our folder here, okay? We've got a font, an OTF, or open type font, which we're going to get into next week in Graphic Design Fundamentals is our type class. And we'll just look at some of them. Actually, we looked at fonts in the week, 3, I think it was, open type, true type font, right? PostScript fonts, etc. SAD robot communications and AI logo. So the client you're working with is astute, yes? And the client sent you a logo that their designer had worked on, but the designer they're currently working with is too busy, and they just can't get to doing this postcard for their client. And the client's like, Mitch, we really need you to help us out. Our designers, unfortunately, they're going through a hard time and they're unable to help us out, but we need to get this done. And you're like, that's no problem, Sally. Love you, Sally. Let's get this going. So Sally's sent you everything that her designers sent her. Amazing. So Sally's designer sent the type that's utilized in the logo. She sent you the AI file. She also sent you a little write-up that she created. Again, you're going to get this from pretty much every client that asked you to do some work for you. They're going to send you a text file, right? Or they're going to maybe send it in the body of an email. That's typically how I get, and the majority of us get our revisions. And, you know, here's a stuff for the postcard, and here's the copy that I want in it. Yeah. I always, just word of the wise, I always get the customer to supply me with their copy. Yeah. At the end of the day, I guess it really doesn't matter regardless, but I hate typing. Can I be honest? I'm just not a big fan at sitting there and typing on the keyboard, especially for somebody like, you know, especially for somebody else. Like, if you can supply me with a piece of paper with it written down on, why can't you convert that into copy so I can utilize it, just copy paste? And then also you let them know, like, if you want me to type this out, it's going to take me half an hour to type this. Do you want me to charge you a half an hour for me to sit there and type when you can clearly type this out? Anyway, that being said, you've got a TXT file. Let's go ahead and open these up quick. There we go. Let Blue connect you. Here's all the copy that Sally wants in her business card or her postcard. Okay. Now it's just a TXT file. If you double click on it, open it up. As mentioned, many times you will get this on, say, an email, right? And then you copy the email. I always copy the email and then bring it into the native file. If there's one tip or trick I can bring forward to you, I'll try to give you a few little tips and tricks every day. But the one big one that I'm going to suggest is, if you're working with someone, copy and paste it over into the side, right? If it's Illustrator, just copy paste it. Have it there for you so that you can play with it. And we're going to do that today in InDesign with this copy. So that's all good. Now, we have an AI file within this zip file. Let's go ahead and double click on that for a second. What you're going to find is going to, of course, launch in Adobe Illustrator as it's an AI file, which is great. As mentioned, Sally's really astute. Many of your customers, depending on, you know, if you have customers, if you choose to do some freelance, get your side hustle going on, they may send you shitty pictures like the one that we started with, Sad Robot. And then the first question we're going to have for Sally is, Sally, why do you have a shitty JPEG of your own logo? Shouldn't you have a nice copy? Who did this for you? And Sally's going to say, well, I got it from this guy, and then he ran away and I didn't pay him. So this is all. And you're like, okay, so clearly you didn't pay this dude to do your logo. And you've got a shitty proof that he sent you, and you didn't pay him. And so you don't have. So we want to be aware of why someone doesn't have a vector copy of their logo. Any designer out there who's going to make sure that they get an AI file, an EPS file, a PDF file, a PNG file, a TIFF file, you name it, right? JPEG, PNG, like web-based files, print-based files. Here you go, Sally, you've got it all. No matter what you need, if someone asks for a file type, you've got it, right? We've got you covered. So if Sally doesn't have this stuff, red flag, because it may mean that she might not pay you, is what I'm getting at, because clearly she's done it with another client or another designer and basically effed off and did not pay them. And now all she has is a shit. Does that make sense for everyone? I don't want to, it's not a scare. It's just be aware. That's all. People sometimes aren't kind. And I think if there was more kindness in this world, we wouldn't have to, man, what a mess. This world's crazy. All right. Anyway, so have a look. We've got our layers set up for you. Check it out. Woohoo. Right. So if you didn't do this with me, no worries. Right. We've got that. If you want to use yours, that would be awesome. If you want to use the one with the rocket boots on it, you can go back and use yours. I have no problem with that. But that being said, the thing with that is don't worry, don't do that. Don't do it. So we've got supplied art. Okay, I'm going to just close this down. We had a look at it. Always open up what you have just to preview it and have a look at it. Amazing. So we got that. And then we've got this designer block OTF. So double click on the OTF file here all, and that will just open it up here. And we want to click. This is our designer block. Now we should have this loaded in if you did the robot with me the other day. So you don't really need to install font. But if you didn't do that Sad Robot with me, go ahead and install it. Okay. and just install. That'll then put it into your font, your suitcase, right there, or your font book. Okay, sound good? Now we have supplied art. What we might do is let's get this organized. We have, yeah, you know what? Forget it. Let's not do supplied art. Let's just keep it in its main folder here, okay? And we'll just say originals, and we'll just say from clients. Sure. You probably could even keep this outside without creating another folder. It's kind of redundant, isn't it? Anyway, whatever you wish, just have it there. What I want to make sure of, everyone, is please don't move things around after you've begun the process, okay? We want to be really careful with that. So don't be moving images. Remember last week we were working with images there and we kind of changed the name, I think, or maybe moved it into another folder. And then the link comes up as missing because it's trying to find the name of the file. Or maybe I think some of us had it happen to us where I have a little red mark and it was saying, your image is missing. And that's because we either moved it or maybe we changed the name of it or etc. Okay, so let's just be really aware. I'm happy with that. Let's just leave that in the originals, okay? Everyone good? We got all organized. We've got our file set up. We've got 3 folders, brought the zip file in, and that's 20 minutes. So let's end that video, okay? And then we'll come back and maybe we will get our workspace set up. Sound good? So I'm just gonna stop that recording.